Hi friends, and welcome back to Science with Miss Gardner. Last time we left off on the plant life cycle. Remember, plant life cycle is just a life cycle is a series of changes as a living thing goes from birth all the way to an adult. I demonstrated the life cycle of a plant by using the seed. In our case, we used a lima bean seed. And over the past week, I have been able to see and observe that seed growing into a full adult plant. First, the lima bean seed sprouted, then it became a little seedling, and eventually it formed into a large lima bean plant, which I think is really neat. So this is mature, which means it's fully grown, and it is an adult plant. Now, similar to plants, animals also go through a life cycle. They go through a series of changes from birth through growth, maturity, and eventually death. So just like plants, animals go through birth, growth, maturity, that means being fully grown, an adult, and eventually death. So to model this life cycle for an animal life cycle, I chose a couple insects that go through complete metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is just physical changes. Some animals go through it, and there's very different stages in complete metamorphosis, which I will explain in a moment. So remember, metamorphosis is just physical changes going from being young to a full-grown adult, similar to the life cycle. So if everybody could please say complete metamorphosis. Good. One more time all together. Complete metamorphosis. Good. Okay, friends. So to model a couple insects that go through complete metamorphosis, I have selected first the beetle and then the butterfly, which I know a lot of us are familiar with. All right, the life cycle of the beetle going through metamorphosis starts with eggs. A lot of insects start with eggs. Not all animals start from birth as eggs, though. You know, a lot of live mammals are just born as opposed to being born in an egg. For example, a puppy is not born in an egg. Next, after the eggs for the beetle is going to be the larva. Everybody please say larva. Good. Larva is a young wingless form that many insects go through, and it looks a lot different than the adult. This is the larva. It just crawls around. It cannot fly, whereas this is the adult. So remember, larva is young and wingless, and it is the second stage in the life cycle of a beetle and the second stage in complete metamorphosis. Next, going along, we have the pupa. The pupa is a non-moving, that means it's perfectly still, a non-moving stage where the larva begins to transform to an adult. So in this stage, the larva is transforming into this beetle. So it's not moving, it's still, and it's undergoing that transformation. Eventually, of course, we have our adult beetle, and then the beetle lives, and natural circumstances occur, it dies, okay, and that's the full life cycle from birth to death. And so what I want you to take away from this is that these are completely different stages. There's some unique characteristics about each stage. And what I want you to do is pause this video right now, and I want you to actually draw, to the best of your ability, the life cycle of a beetle, and please remember to label the parts. All right, friends, by now you should have paused the video and drawn your own life cycle of a beetle, which we know is also called complete metamorphosis. Now, I did say earlier that beetles undergo this life cycle of metamorphosis along with butterflies, and I think this one will be a lot more familiar to you all. Butterflies, for the larva stage, is actually a caterpillar, right? That's a caterpillar, and eventually this caterpillar goes into a pupa, also called a chrysalis, and it's a non-moving stage, remember. And what is that caterpillar doing as a pupa? Well, it is transforming into a beautiful adult butterfly. So this picture, this visual is for beetles, but it can also apply for butterflies and a couple other insects. I'm going to review the 4 phases one more time, and then we'll move on. We have eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. So we have 4 phases in complete metamorphosis, or in this life cycle. Now, I just want to touch on all animal life cycles in general. All animals go through birth, growth, and death. And today we just focused on complete metamorphosis as far as insects. But no, that's not necessarily the life cycle of every animal. They all look different, they all look unique, and all animals take different times to grow. For example, some animals might be fully grown in just a week or 2, whereas other animals might be growing and it might take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years for them to reach maturity or for them to reach their fully grown state. So all animals grow, yes. All plants grow, yes. But they all grow differently and at different paces. So that's also something that I want you to take away as we're reviewing and thinking about complete metamorphosis and thinking about this insect growth and their process, that it doesn't look like that for every single animal or insect. All right, friends, I look forward to talking to you all soon on my live lesson, and I will have a special surprise on my live lesson, so be sure to be tuned in and participating in that. Okay, I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.